word out. So we'll talk with them a little bit after 7:49. Let's head right into the KUAM News Zoom room. We're standing by. We have the Adelup Press Secretary, Krystal Paco-San Agustin. Good morning, Krystal.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Sabrina and Chris, Jason, Joseph, people of Guam. Good morning.
Good morning. All right. So, everybody's wanting to know
I feel like I need a drum roll or something.
what is the inclination on this extension.
Before I give you what's next, what people of Guam can expect, I just want to rehash what we learned last night about our newly confirmed cases. Last night, we had 47 new confirmed cases of coronavirus to date. That brings us to 2,013 total confirmed cases. And this is us, again, breaking another record we shouldn't be proud of, breaking that 2,000 mark. Yesterday, we also saw our 29th COVID-related fatality. So now that I've rehashed what we know what the updates were from yesterday, I know the people of Guam want to know how to plan their weekend, what's in store. So that existing executive order right now is set to expire at noon tomorrow. That's Friday at noon. But prior to that, Governor Leon Guerrero will be signing an executive order that extends the stay-at-home order another week. But this will be with modifications. Personally, I call this PCOR 1.5. It's familiar to us. It's that first version of PCOR that we saw about a month ago. The difference from what we have now versus what you can expect tomorrow at noon when this one comes into effect is that non-essential curbside retail will be allowed. Also notably different is that restaurants and eating establishments may allow customers onto the premises, but limited for the purposes of takeout dining. So now if you're going to go to the restaurant, pick up your order, they don't necessarily have to come out to you. You can actually enter the establishment, pick up your food that you've already ordered in advance of your arrival. So again, all of this is subject, as always, to Department of Public Health and Social Services guidance. Again, I cannot stress enough to your listeners, to your viewers at home, that these modifications that I'm talking about do not take effect today, but they take effect tomorrow. That's Friday, September 18 at noon. And that's when the existing EO expires. Also, stay at home seems to be working to an extent. We're seeing a plateau, almost a tapering off of newly confirmed cases, but our hospital is still very, very overwhelmed. And I'm so glad that you're going to have our hospital administrator, Lillian, a little bit after me, so she can explain to you also what's the situation there. Thank you to Nurse Rose, and also to Dr. Perez for, informing the people of Guam and helping us. And thank you, KUAM, for giving us this platform to share these stories. I think the more people understand what goes into the response, the more empathetic I want to say, and the more they want to do their part to be a part of the fight and to combat COVID, because we all want to go back to normal. So just to rehash what I said, EO that will sign, that'll take effect Friday at noon, will extend that stay-at-home order another week. So it again will go another week till next Friday. Stay-at-home order another week with modifications. The modifications are that non-essential retail can do curbside, and that restaurants and eating establishments can have customers on the premises for the purpose of picking up their orders.
Right. So basically, the non-essential businesses are going to be doing what the restaurants had been doing, and the restaurants are being given that additional easing and allowing us to go in and actually get the food and pick it up.
And from personal experience, I want to say that we're making these modifications, and I'm seeing we're making these modifications because of the kind of feedback we're getting. And so I manage the governor's social media. I get a lot of messages from residents who maybe need to buy shoes. They need to buy shoes and underwear for their kids. We're growing out of them. I mean, we've been on stay at home for about a month, and you can go to Kmart, but right now you cannot buy those items. I spoke to a woman at length about she wanted to buy an inflatable pool at Kmart because she needed the rehabilitation for COVID-19 and the stress that it was causing to her. And she spoke to me, she's like, can I get a doctor's clearance so I can go buy this at Kmart? And unfortunately, we couldn't allow that at the time. So this version of PCOR1, this version of our stay-at-home order does allow for that. Also, we heard stories about people who wanted to buy work shoes and they couldn't. Maybe they worked in construction and they couldn't go to the store and buy work shoes. And so those are the stories we're hearing. This is what this version of the stay-at-home order, again, that will take effect tomorrow at noon, will encompass. And this is also always based on the data that we have on hand of what we know about how coronavirus spreads, where we're most vulnerable here on Guam, and that's our funerals, that's our social gatherings, and that's our congregate eating areas. And so as long as we're not eating together, we're not mourning together, and we're not drinking together, it seems like we're going to be okay. Again, the problem with coronavirus is that it takes a little bit, it takes about a 2-week lag before we see any of the effects of our policies that we've instituted.
Having said that, then why would we do weekly lockdowns? Why wouldn't it just be 2 to 3 weeks?
The governor always wants to assess. We want to be flexible about the policies we put in place. So if it's not working, we can pull back. If it's working, then we can push forward. So that's how I understand and why it's a week to week stay-at-home order.
Everything with the prohibition on gatherings and all that will remain in place, Krystal?
Yes. Those are the parts I mentioned. Those are the biggest changes, the most major changes to the existing executive order.
So there are some like minor changes. Can you tell us anything about those?
I didn't see any much. I didn't see the latest version of the draft executive order. So PCOR1 remains in place. Continued stay-at-home order. That's the gist of it.
Right.
So pretty much like if we go to Kmart, they can sell everything. I haven't been to Kmart in a long time, but everything will be.
Neither have I.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, it's for the reasons that the personal reasons we're hearing. People need these items. We need to feel comfortable in our homes. We recognize that the stay-at-home order, the continuing stay-at-home order, is taxing to our residents who maybe need more items to feel more comfortable, to be more comfortable as they isolate at home. And like I said, it was a woman who needed a pool, or an inflatable pool. I asked her if she could go to the beach, and she's like, that's not ideal for me. I really would like to, do some stress release, decompress at home. And that's understandable. And then the kids are growing. They're going to grow whether or not we have a stay-at-home order or not. So, going to buy those necessities that wouldn't exactly be considered essential, unfortunately.
Right. So, and I mean, with that being said, are we looking at, in the event and God forbid we do go back to, real PCOR1, would these items like underwear and all that stuff be deemed essential? Because it kind of seems like it seems like it should be essential.
Yeah. Is that public? Is that public health who determines what items are essential and what items are not essential?
That's exactly what I was about to say, is that's ultimately up to the Department of Public Health and Social Services.
Okay. Will there be a press conference tomorrow or today regarding the new executive order?
Not that I'm tracking.
Okay.
I'm hoping that my interview, and then I'll be able to provide more information for you as soon as possible. Hopefully, we can get this executive order signed ASAP, and then I can disseminate that to you and the members of the media, so we can push out the news that we're still on stay-at-home orders.
So, Krystal, just phone's blowing up now. Stores like Ross, non-essential, open for curbside only.
Based on how I'm understanding the guidance, yes, but I would prefer to wait until. Right. I'm looking at my other computer to see the questions. I would defer to public health's guidance, which will be forthcoming.
And what about barbershops, hair salons, nail salons?
I don't really want a haircut. No, unfortunately, there will be no changes to getting your haircut or your dog getting a haircut. I did get that question.
Right.
That someone wanted to the groomers to be open. I'm like, if you can't get a haircut, your dog can't get a haircut, and that remains the same. I
don't want to be a snitch, but I'm going to be. I got a message on my Insta about a nail salon just right down the street that was open and accepting customers. So I don't know if you guys have got that tip. I don't know which one it is. It's kind of across the mall.
Well, that's a great segue. You can call 311. We do have an option. I want to say it's option 4 or 6. I can't recall which option. You should listen to the directory. Call 311. There is an option for reporting those who are violating the social isolation directive, and what that line goes to is the Guam Police Department, the RAC, Response Activity Coordinator at Homeland Security. They can track it. They work directly with public health, and we can get a team on it as soon as possible. Again, we highly discourage these types of events and openings of non-essential businesses. And so what we do is we send a public health team or Guam Police Department to council, and if needed, enforce that public nuisance citation.
They just rip off everybody's gel nails right when they bust it. Like, everybody shut it down!
Do you know how gel nails work, Chris? Like,
I don't
you can't
know
take them
anything,
off by yourself. And so
Okay.
that's why I'm stuck with them.
Okay.
For the girls that got gel nails or manicured nails right before the stay-at-home order, I am so sorry. Your nails are probably horrendous at this
That's the
point.
girls who are going like this. You know, like, yeah. Hands below the desk.
So like the non-essential retail stores, we're not looking at like the mall being open, right?
No.
This is just
You're looking at
order
curbside,
online and pick up.
Yes.
Right.
Call in or order online and you pick up. This also supports our small businesses. I see a lot of pop-up businesses on Instagram. I know most of us are shopping on Instagram. They're able to do curbside retail for those non-essentials.
Right. All right. Anything else? If there's anything in that executive order, and we have any further questions or clarification, we'll definitely give you a call.
Yes, and always the Joint Information Center. That's option 8 on 311. So again, call 311. We hope to make it as a one-stop shop as possible. One is the nurse triage. So if you need to call, if you need medical assistance or you need some guidance, call Nurse Rose and her team. They're fantastic. Obviously, you already got schooled by them this morning.
Literally.
I would say you got A+. You can call up, and option 2 is public welfare at the Department of Public Health and Social Services. 3 is our COVID app alert support, the Guam COVID alert app support. So if you have any questions about the app that we just launched last week, already 10,000 plus downloads. If you have any questions, you can talk to somebody on that line. They are our app support line. We also have the crisis hotline. They're being corrected. I'm not sure the actual directory numbers, but those are some of the options. The app
Right.
alert support, crisis hotline, of course, Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center. I want to thank you also for playing our PSAs about identifying the signs of suicide. We also have the Guam Police Department, who, if you want to report someone who may be in violation of the social isolation directive, and of course the Joint Information Center is for all your general inquiries. They're line 8.
Thank you, Krystal.
Thanks, Chris.
And thanks again for giving our first responders and our healthcare heroes a platform on Thursdays. Thank you for having me at this time, right after that, Nurse Rose and Dr. Perez.
All right.
Sure thing, Chris.
All right, Chris, stay
And
safe.
wash your hands, wear your mask.
Okay. See
Okay,
you.
bye, Chris.
Bye. 801, we're KUAM FM in Agotni, Guam. To our viewers on KUAM TV, thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed our master class performed by Nurse Rose on how to properly wear a mask. I got to say, I learned something
Learned a lot.
from watching that video, and we're going to put that up, Jay, all over.
I was just about to say, you guys were like, Jace, make sure that goes everywhere. It's like, you don't have to tell me twice. I was already had that in my mind. We are going to put that everywhere. Please share it with your friends, share it with your social